That's my middle name. Okay. For everyone that's new and I have not met yet, I am Joy. I go by Joy, the Detox Coach. I am originally from St. Louis, Missouri, the Midwest, and I've been living here in Florida now for about 10 years. I've been in the wellness industry, in all aspects of the wellness industry, from fitness, personal trainer, sports nutrition coach, synergistic kinesiologist that is able to do muscle testing, and author of R3 Diet and author of Supercharger Superhuman. Oh my goodness, I've been in the wellness industry for almost 17 years, about 17 years. And before that, I was in the medical industry working for a cardiologist for about 4.5 years. So I got to see what I call the sickness industry and then the wellness industry. And obviously I'm hooked on the wellness industry. My mom planted seeds for me to be in this industry because me growing up, she owned a fitness studio when I was a girl. I didn't like it at the time because she would put leotards and leg warmers on me and make me go to community events where we were talking about wellness, and it's very embarrassing to do that when you're a kid. So, but lo and behold, it was a bigger purpose. It was for a greater reason that I just didn't know at the time. And so here's the deal, guys. I personally believe that Limbic Arc is cutting edge. I do believe it's holistic medicine 2.0. I've seen people who are making choices when it comes to their bodies, their minds, their habits that come with consequences based on the choices that they make. And I see people who are now, especially in 2020, ready to make new choices that will build up the body and mind and habits. And so people want a new lifestyle now. People want to look younger than their age. They want to feel amazing. And so this is really good for me to see, because back when I worked for a cardiologist, I didn't see that back then. Back then, people came in, they just wanted their normal drugs that they were being prescribed. They expected just a lackluster life or lifestyle. They expected certain bodily functions to just start diminishing at certain ages. So they expected the wrinkles. They expected for their energy levels to decrease. They expected that they wouldn't be able to do high intensity fitness training anymore at a certain age. They expected that they sometimes, especially if they really believed in the power of like genetics, they expected that they were just a victim of whatever was going through their DNA. They were victims of high blood pressure. They were victims of obesity, or victims of arthritis, or victims of standard American diet eating. And so I had the opportunity to see what it's like when you have those belief systems and the limitations of life that you start to live when you have those belief systems. And now on the other end of the spectrum, where people are hungry for more. People want to live their best life now. People are seeing 80-year-olds look like 50-year-olds. People are seeing 90-year-olds still being able to go out and play golf. People are seeing that the potentials are endless now, based on technology and based on communication. Because we have internet, you can find out what other people are doing all around the globe. And so you're exposed to more options. When you are exposed to more options, it increases your awareness. When you increase your awareness, it increases your ability to choose. That's our number one power, guys. Our number one power is our ability to choose. And believe it or not, that's where most people get scared, because it's such a powerful ability. Because do you realize that some of the best, most powerful breakthroughs you've ever had in your life stemmed from the power to choose? And some of the most devastating things you've ever experienced, or consequences you've ever experienced, stemmed from your power to choose and maybe making bad choices. So what I love is that as long as there's breath in your body, you have the ability to make new choices. And I don't personally think it's an accident how Limbic Arc just kind of fell on my lap, because I believe that the more you say yes to yourself and the more you say yes to good choices, the more opportunities show up, because you're saying yes to the universe, so the universe says yes back to you. Isn't that awesome? Like, isn't that awesome that that's how it works? It works on the other end too. Just like there's that saying that goes, when it rains, it pours. That is a belief system, and that is actually a universal law that is in effect, and that law goes against your power, but it's a law nonetheless. We have the power to choose. So I believe that it was no accident that I found Limbic Arc, and I don't believe it's an accident that you guys found it at the time you found it, and it doesn't mean that you have to have all the answers to make a choice. It doesn't mean you have to be convinced. I like what you guys were saying earlier about you don't know exactly how a microwave works. You don't know exactly how the telephone works. You can't literally word by word explain that process if you're not in that industry. However, what we can do, and since I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, they call that the show me state. What I can say is that allow this system to show you, okay? Allow this system to show you. Allow it to, because it will prove itself to you in a very relatively short amount of time. So I want to start off by telling you guys about the first info boost that I tried, and my number one favorite thing about Limbic Arc. My favorite thing, hands down, is the ability to have a custom boost. The custom boosts are so accurate that it's scary. The custom boosts are amazing. So let me give you all a little bit of, I'm going to give you an analogy so you can see how powerful it is. So when I do, in my practice, when I do this technique called synergistic kinesiology with muscle testing, I'm able to muscle test to find out what deficiencies you may have, what nutritional deficiencies, what emotional blocks you may have, because your conscious mind may not know or remember things, but your subconscious mind knows everything. It keeps perfect records of every single thing. So what's interesting is when I talk to people, they think that their issues are one thing, but that may not be the biggest issue that their body or their mind or emotions are dealing with. So if you had a regular program that just said, take this and you'll be better, how do you know? The only reason you're going to be suggested certain things in the first place is because your conscious mind is going to tell some type of practitioner that this is wrong with you, this hurts, that this is ineffective, this part of your body, this is a symptom, this is a symptom. You're just going to go through a bunch of symptoms, pains, and discomforts. And then the practitioner is going to give you a list of remedies based on what you just said to them with your conscious mind. But what if your conscious mind doesn't know the root cause of the problem? And in most cases, it does not. So that's where the custom boost comes in and why it's my favorite, because it will come along and it knows what the core issue is. Also, the body has a hierarchy system. And what I mean by that is if your body has cancer, and your number one goal is to lose weight, let's say you don't even know you have cancer, and your goal is to lose weight. Your body knows that its number one priority is not freaking weight loss. It knows that the number one priority is to get that cancer, those toxins out of your body. See, it knows that you're dying internally. And your number one goal that the body wants to do is to keep you alive. It's more concerned about keeping you alive than getting rid of 20 pounds, okay? So with that being the case, the custom boost, what it does is it knows what the root cause is. And so even though your conscious mind may not be able to accurately put that in and choose that as the info boost that you want, the custom will do it for you. So the first time I experienced it is the very first custom boost that I did. The night before I did it, I woke up that morning with a crick in my neck. I slept on some type of Tempur-Pedic pillow, a new pillow I'd never slept on before. And so when I woke up the next day, I had a crick in my neck. And it was, on a scale of 1 to 10, the pain was like a 9, okay? And so I get up and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is unbearable. And so I go and now keep in mind, guys, I have to say this because this is pertinent. Because I'm in the holistic industry, and I'm not suggesting you guys do this, just to make that disclaimer. This is just my personal way of living and part of my lifestyle. but I had not seen a medical doctor in like 20 years. And no longer. No, but when did I have, my youngest is 17. So that was the last time I saw a medical doctor. I saw medical doctors to have my 3 babies and that was it. And so other than that, I use healthy natural remedies. I stay healthy. I never have symptoms. I don't even freaking get a headache. I get no adverse symptoms ever. And so I was like, okay, you know, let me go and get blood work. I'm telling everybody that I'm walking billboard for health, but I haven't had a blood work done in years. I haven't had a urinalysis in years. I haven't had a breast exam in years. Let me go and get this stuff done. So I go and get it done, and then everything came back perfect. As a matter of fact, the medical doctor was asking me about my lifestyle choices. Like, what are you doing? Like, you don't have, everything is perfect. And so it was like a week after that when I woke up with this crick in my neck. So I went back to that doctor, and immediately, what did he do? He tried to give me pain meds and all this stuff. And I was like, that explains why I hadn't been coming in the first place. So I used Limbic Arc, and I did a custom, because this was around the time when I was introduced to Limbic Arc, or found in Limbic Arc. And I get up the next day, and lo and behold, guess what the very first ingredient was recommended in my custom? It was a recommendation for joint pain. It was joint pain. How did it know that that's the number one thing that I was facing? If it had given me that just 2 weeks prior, that would have been inaccurate. I would have been like, what joint pain? It gave me exactly what I needed at the exact time that I needed it. Case number 2, I put in detox. I did, obviously, I'm a detox coach. I'm going to test out the detox info boost. So I tested out the info boost detox. And I already determined that I was going to do it at the same time that I was doing a physical detox. And let me just give you guys my explanation of what the word detox means. It means a specified period of time where you allow anything that's not building your body and cells up, you're purging that out, and you're replacing it with everything that's building the body and mind up. So it's just a specified amount of time where you're letting go of what's no longer serving you, and you're replenishing yourself with what is serving you. And so detoxing, to me, is number one. It's definitely in the top 3 choices that you have to make for yourself, because the toxins that our great grandparents were exposed to in their whole entire lifetime, we're exposed to in a day. We're exposed to in a day. There was a time where even finding sugar was like very hard to find. It was hard for them to source out sugar. So no one consumed a lot of sugar, but guess how much sugar people consume now? The average American consumes 150 pounds of sugar per year per person. Is that crazy or is that crazy? That's more than what some of you weigh. The average American consumes 150 pounds of sugar per year per person. That's why when somebody tells me that they don't need to detox, I laugh. Like, are you kidding me? Do you know how many environmental toxins we're exposed to? Do you know how much EMF radiation toxins we're exposed to? What do you mean we don't have to detox? Or if someone says, well, the liver, that's the liver's job to detox. Yeah, but guess what? The liver is working double, triple time now based on what it's exposed to, that it didn't have that problem eons ago. So it's a new world now. So now we have to pull out the big guns. And I consider Limbic Arc one of the big guns. I consider intermittent detoxing one of the big guns. So the very first time I personally did a detox was about 14 years ago. And at that time when I did a detox, and it was an eating plan detox, at that time, my number one symptom, and let me just quickly tell you why I did it. Back then, and this is when I was working for right around the time I was working for the cardiologist, I used to be addicted to sugar. And I call an addiction something you feel like you have to have every day. You know it's not in your best interest, but you don't know how to make yourself stop. So that's how I was with sugar. It was one of those things that I woke up every day and I found myself just grazing throughout the day on sweets. I wasn't even sitting down to actually have meals. And I know what would have happened if I would have kept down that road. Because I had every single symptom of hypoglycemia, it would have been only a matter of time before I was diagnosed with diabetes. And guess what I would have said? Oh, well, that runs in my family. My mom had it, my grandma had it, and I would have given the excuse and justified the reason I had it instead of being honest and saying, no, I caused this problem based on my lifestyle choices. What I chose to put in my mouth, that's what caused this diagnosis. And so at that time, I did a detox, and the number one symptom that I had was a headache. Because when you're detoxing the body, especially for the first time, because back then it was the first time, when you're detoxing the body, then you're experiencing detox symptoms as the toxins are being purged from your skin, which is our largest organ, as it's causing your elimination, it's going through elimination, your elimination system. It's causing all of your energy to go toward cleansing. And so headaches were my number one detox symptom. Now, I've been doing intermittent fasting for years now. And guess what happened when I picked Detox Info Boost with Limbic Arc? I kid you not. I do a detox, a 4-day detox every single month. And when I chose Detox Info Boost, the number one symptom that I had was an extreme headache. It was so bad that after, now keep in mind, guys, I gotta say this. I had all 3 of my children without an epidural. So I have a very high tolerance for pain. However, when I had this headache that I got from the Detox Info Boost, I was, after about 5 or 6 hours, I was considering turning it off. I was like, you know what? I haven't experienced this detox symptom this strong in years. I'm turning it off. And then I'm like, and then I had the other part of my brain, the part that is my cheerleader, that's like, you better not. You better hang in there. You better tough. You're tough. You don't do that. You're brave. You don't just let a simple headache stop you and make you quit. Do you know what you've overcome in life? Yeah, that's kind of what my other part of my brain tells me when it's pumping me up. So I was all pumped up and I let it run. And that whole day I had a major headache, but it was so worth it because the next day I felt amazing. I felt supercharged, which is my favorite word to say. So the key is, that was another example that the Info Boost not only did what it was supposed to do, but I could tell it was working at maximum capacity, okay? It was doing it, and it was doing it like a well-oiled machine. It was doing it way better than what I could have done just with my measly efforts in my human body alone. Does that make sense, guys? So that's what this is about. This is about tapping into something that's taking your efforts, that's what you can do. There's limits to what you can do, okay?
Wow.
Tap 2
Nice.
arms, 2 legs, you know,
Yeah,
one
they
mouth,
can hear me.
24 hours in a day. And so there's limits to what you can do. However, when you tap into the frequencies of Limbic Arc, it takes what you can do and it magnifies it, thereby magnifying the results. And so the last thing that I experienced with Limbic Arc with the custom was I was pouring hot water in my teacup, and I was doing it sitting down, which I don't recommend, and I'll never do that again in life. So I was like sitting down and I'm pouring it right above my lap. And so I'm pouring the hot water in, and 1 drop of the hot water dropped on my leg. So when it did that, I kind of jumped. And when I jumped, it made more of the water land on my leg. And so I had like a puddle of hot water just sitting on my leg until I jumped up and wiped it off. So I'm pretty sure that was close to like a 2nd-degree burn. The next day, it was time for me to do my custom boost. And the number 1 ingredient on that custom boost said wound healing. Guys, really? It said wound healing. How did it know the day before that I spilled boiling hot water on my leg? And so it's just amazing. Same thing happened with my mom. My mom did it, and she had been addicted to alcohol for years, and she recently made a choice to start. She recently made a choice to let alcoholism go and to say goodbye to it and detox it out of her life once and for all. And so she was on a path to doing that just recently. And when I had her hooked up to Limbic Arc, in her custom boost, the #1 ingredient was for alcohol recovery, guys. Like, if that was in my custom boost, I would have been like, what the heck? This doesn't even apply to me. But it was in her custom boost. So that's what I mean when I say this is holistic medicine 2.0. Who cares if you can explain it? This isn't something that really needs to be explained. This is something that needs to be shown. Like show and tell back in school. People need to experience this. People need to see this for with their own eyes. When I reached out to Sylvia and I told her that I was checking it out, and just to let you all know how I found out about it, people were having a conversation online about holistic modalities, and somebody mentioned Limbic Arc in the comments. I'd never heard of it. They just said something in the comments about their friends just introduced them to Limbic Arc, and so they were having a really good experience with it, and they had only been using it for a few weeks. And when they saw that, it caused them to join the program. And so I started researching it when I saw that comment. So nobody reached out to me to tell me about it. I just saw the comment and started doing a little research on my own. I found Sylvia online. I connected with her energy. I really liked her energy. And so I reached out to her and said, hey, I want to try it. Let me try it. And then it's so cute because she started sending me different things about testimonials other people were having, experiences they were having. And I wasn't even interested in that. I was like, dude, I'm ready to sign up. That's nice that everybody's having all these great experiences. I am ready to experience this for myself. So where do I sign up? And that's what happens when people experience it for themselves. You have to do very little talking because this is powerful. There's nothing else that can explain that type of power.
Wow, what a great share. Oh yeah, and you were saying, oh, well, you're going to ask me questions or what? It's like, no, just wind you up, push the on button, and away you go.
That's all Beautiful. You have to do.
It's wonderful to have you on here. Love your enthusiasm. Thank you, Joy, for being on here.